Good morning, or should I say happy scary morning. I'll wait for a few people to jump on the live as I always do so that everybody gets an opportunity to tune in and watch what I'm going to do this morning with today's look. So starting off with a very scary looking face mask at the moment, but just wait for you all to check in, probably just, I don't even know what the time is, you're probably all settling in, having a coffee. Don't you love it how my mask matches my cup? For those of you that wanted to know where I got these cups to yesterday, it was from their Morgan and Finch cups, so I think I got them from Bed Bath and Table. Anyway, good morning, happy Thursday. I'm starting off the live today with this scary look, and that is the pink clay mask in the ADORN range, which I discussed a little bit on yesterday's live. Good morning, Vanessa. Hopefully I'm not freaking anyone out this morning. I did contemplate driving to the office like this, and then I thought, no, I'm probably going to get pulled over, knowing my luck, and then I will be highly embarrassed. But today's look is all about the tips that I think are really easy and the ones that I use when I feel like my skin's a little bit dull. Maybe I want to go out, I've got a special event, maybe I've got a dinner on, and these are a few of the skincare steps that I do prior to makeup to, I guess, make my skin look really healthy and tight and firm. And so if you would like to tune in and follow those steps with me, hopefully that will give you some little tips on how you can do that at home as well. So, morning, Anne Louise. Okay, so what I do on a night out or when I want my skin to just look absolutely awesome, I cleanse my face obviously, and I also just do a very light facial scrub with the ADORN bamboo facial scrub. I love the bamboo one because it's better for the environment. Bamboo is a renewable source. It's also safe for it to end up in the water, unlike the microbeads that are used in some. And I can't even take myself seriously talking to you right now. And the other thing I suppose that I don't love about some face scrubs is if they use nuts and really big granular ingredients as the, I suppose, mechanical way of getting the dead skin off. It can be quite harsh for some people. So the bamboo is a really soft product that will actually help get dead skin and refine the pores. So for me, it's cleansing, very light bamboo scrub just to help get rid of any dead skin cells. Any dead skin cells or dry skin will always grab to makeup, so it's ideal that you get rid of that. Don't do it to the point that your face is red raw afterwards, because then you're going to be trying to cover redness, but just enough that it gives or exposes the nice new fresh skin, and it makes it a lot easier for you to get your makeup looking fabulous. So the trick is to have awesome skin to make your makeup look awesome, and also you don't need as much makeup if your skin is at its optimal. Okay, I know we've all got different skin issues and we have to work around that, but these are just some little tips that might help you. Now, with the pink clay mask, I then put that on. As soon as I get out of the shower, I just quickly, or if I've not gotten the shower yet, I put this on. I mix a little bit with water, put it on with a little brush, or you can use your fingers. What I love about this mask is that it's very purifying, but it's also very calming. So if you do have any sort of mild rosacea or red angry acne, any sort of redness, it helps to calm that. But if you've also got a dry or dehydrated skin like me, the Australian pink clay the ingredients that we use do not suck out the natural oils of the skin. So that's fabulous. All it's doing is drawing out impurities. It's actually helping to nourish and hydrate the skin, believe it or not dry the skin out. So this is not necessarily a clay mask that is a hugely detoxifying one. It's more to help rebalance the skin, and it's suitable for all skin types for that particular reason. Hey Vicky, yes, you made the broadcast. Oh, it's 2 in a week, and I haven't even spoken to you guys in the last month, so I'm happy that I've got this extra time. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash this off, and my favourite thing in the world is using face cloths. I do think that face cloths are the key difference between good and great skin, or clean skin and really clean skin, a face cloth will always mechanically take off some of the dead skin rather than just splashing water on your face to rinse your cleanser off. You know, if you're just using water and splashing that on your face, you're leaving the residue of the cleanser behind. You're not actually getting into the deeper pores of the skin and getting rid of any of the deeper impurities or dirt or makeup that that's gone a little bit further in. So it's not as effective to wash your face that way. So it is always a great idea to use any face washer. My favourite is obviously ADORN's waffle weave cloth. I've always used a waffle weave type of product just because the weave, which is probably hard to see, oh yeah, you can see that. It's the way that this fabric is weaved that makes the difference as to how it works with the skin. So it acts like a mild exfoliant. So if you've cleansed your face thoroughly overnight, for most of you, warm water and this may be enough in the morning because it does actually grab and help to get rid of the impurities as well. So this is something that you may just use of a morning, and that's all I do. I cleanse my face twice of a night, and then of a morning it's just warm waffle cloth. I don't use a cleanser in the morning, okay? That's just for me because I just find that works for me, and you might find that for most of you that would work too. So I'm just going to dip this into... Let's see how this goes, getting a clay mask off on alive. This could be very interesting. I probably should have worn a pink top because this is probably going to go everywhere. All right, so I've got my trusty bowl. You wouldn't be doing this at home. You'd be working on a sink. But bear with me, guys, because this is not easy doing it in the office. All right, so I've just... I don't think that when you're getting your clay mask off, use a face cloth, or if you're in the shower, just rinse it off. But if you're not in the shower, just don't totally wring this out, because otherwise you're going to be trying to rub it off. You want to try and soak this off. See? And that's because I didn't totally wring all of the water out, because you don't want to be stretching and rubbing your skin to get products off. That's a little bit aggressive in my opinion. So let's just... Now, the redness that you're seeing is not redness as such, it's actually the blood. So when your skin is tightened, what happens is it increases blood flow. So if you pinch your skin, it goes a little bit red. It's because you've increased blood flow to come to the surface. So you can see where that was red, it's gone down now. But the redness after a pink clay is quite normal. It's the beautiful blood cells that have just come to the surface and they're helping to regenerate the skin. So that's completely normal to see that. Ask any questions. Hey, Melissa. Courtney. I think I'm doing a good job, Courtney. I'm not made a mess yet. Morning, Kayleen. So yes, for teenage skin, look, I don't like to generalise, but the issue I find with teenagers is a little bit of laziness. So if you can get them to cleanse just even of a night time, and it's a double cleanse for girls if they're wearing makeup. If they're not, or if it's a boy, just a single cleanse, rinsing it off with a waffle cloth is fine. And then the second cleanse could be just the waffle cloth. So cleanse with the cleanser first, remove it with the waffle cloth. If you're not wearing makeup, the second cleanse could just be the waffle cloth, okay? If you've got makeup on, I always recommend a double cleanse with a cleanser. And then there's the two cleansers. You've got our cleanser that's focusing on more the acne type of skin, and then we've got our normal cleanser that suits most skin types. Okay, and then just tell your kids, or even as I said to you before, yourself, in the morning, if you've cleansed your face properly, then you might just need warm water and a waffle cloth to remove any of the impurities and dead skin from night. Okay? Now, what I'd also recommend for teenagers or anyone who's got sort of an acne skin, or anyone who's just getting started is, good cleanser and a really good moisturiser, obviously, but a light one. It doesn't need to be heavy and thick to be working. One of the mistakes I see a lot of people make is they think more gives better results, and it doesn't. So your skin can only absorb so much product when it comes to moisturizers. You slathering your face does not do anything but waste the product, okay? And I do see when I'm showing people, friends, family, and I ask them to show me what they do, and they're pumping away and they've got like a 50-cent piece worth of skincare and they're slathering it on. I'm like, that is just an absolute waste. Your skin can only suck in so much. So don't think or be fooled that more helps your skin. It doesn't. A good face mask for your kids and for yourself, I think if you can invest that time, even just for 5 minutes once a week, does make a big difference. Like, look how tight. Okay, look, I don't have the most even complexion. I've got pigmentation. I do have broken capillaries around my nose. You know, I've got dark circles. I've got psoriasis. You know, most of us. I just don't have perfect skin without makeup on. But you can tell, rather than the discoloration, you can see that my skin does look brighter, and it's also got a nice sort of sheen to it, and it does look tighter. The texture of it looks tighter, and that's what I love about putting a face mask on, even just for 5 minutes if I'm going out to an event, because it does temporarily push all the blood cells to the surface of the skin, and it does make the skin look tight, plump, and really nourished, at least for that night, which is great. So there's a little tip for you as to what I do prior to an event. So I'm just going to quickly check before I go to the next step if there's any other questions. You know, I reckon I should get 10 points for that effort, because I don't have one drop of that on my... Oh yeah, I've cleaned it off my face. I haven't cleaned it in the side of my nose. That could be interesting. Let's get rid of that. All right. Yeah, don't forget about the mask that's got up your nose or in your ear. So, okay. And for those of you, like, I can't do it today, but put some mask on your décolletage. That poor chest of yours cops the elements like you wouldn't believe, like the sun. Most of us don't look after it. It doesn't get moisturized. There's not a lot of blood flow there because there's not a lot of fat there. So, you know, it gets tortured. So put a bit of a mask on there to help tighten up that area and bring some blood flow to that area, and start looking after your chests, because your chest and your neck and your hands and even the fronts of your legs will give away your age. And look, you know, aging is an absolute... It's a luxury to age. Like, there's a lot of people that don't get to age. So I have nothing against aging, but if you can look as good as you can for as long as you can, why not? So look after those areas of your body that have least amount of fat tissue. They tend to cop the damage. So the backs of the hands, you know, I always put a bit of loose foundation on the back of my hands, and you know, at 40, I think that's pretty good. I don't have any sunspots, and I think that's just for doing that for the last 11 years. Okay, so while I'm having a sip of my waffy, any other questions? Kayleen? Yes, so maybe just introducing one extra thing. I don't think that you need to overcomplicate things with your skincare, because if you do, you're probably not going to stick to it, and if you do, it can also be a little bit pricey, and I don't think it always necessarily means more is better, as I said. So just maybe introduce a clay mask, maybe a bamboo scrub that might just help regulate some of the oil flow. I think that people who are suffering from acne or any skin condition, it's really important that you have a really good pillowcase that's a natural fibre. I can't stress that enough. You're laying down on your face, you know, for, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours. Maybe a few of you are getting in 12 hours, I don't know, but in my world it's probably about 6. But you still got your face on your pillowcase, so make sure it's a natural fibre so it's breathing, it allows your skin to breathe. And change your pillowcase every couple of days. I promise you, if you've got acne in particular, or congestion, a lot of this congestion around here, that doing something as simple as that can make the world of difference, and you'll notice that in a few weeks' time. Whenever you make a change to your skincare, it usually takes a few weeks to see the notice, or notice it rather. Okay, so, all right, the next step, as I always mention, and maybe not everybody realises, that when your skin's slightly damp, it's permeable, and what that means is it's more likely to allow something into it and moisture into it. If your skin's dry, the pores have tightened. Okay, so let's think that's a pore. It's tightened and it's closed up. It's harder for your moisturisers to get in. But when your skin is damp, the pores are still open, and when you moisturise, the moisture is going to get in a little bit further and make your skin look amazing. So what I like to do is, after I've got out the shower, I've cleansed my face, I spritz it with the Bulgarian rose water. Okay, this is pure rose water. It is not made from any sort of synthetic perfumes. It's shoved in a bit of water. This is actual rose water that's come off the distillery. So extremely hydrating, and it suits all skin types. It smells of a beautiful rose, but it's not an overpowering rose smell, and it's definitely one of our popular products. Not only do I love this as a replacement, and a better replacement for most toners, is that it hydrates, it regulates, but it also works as a makeup spritzer. So when you've put your makeup on, if you're a dry, dehydrated skin like me, or you just want really skin-like looking makeup, you can spritz this over the top of your makeup, and what that does is it just pushes your makeup into the skin a bit more and gives the appearance of it looking more skin-like, rather than your makeup sitting on top of the skin. Mish, how you going? What face cream is best for living in a high humidity area, please? So I would definitely recommend our skin primer. Now, it is a skin primer day moisturizer. It's a 2-in-1 product. The reason we have this product is because people are time poor. You don't really need 2 different things to do that. A good moisturiser will regulate the skin, and that's what most primers are supposed to do. The primer is a light rose water type of a smell. It's a very light, almost like a lotion. It's extremely absorbent, and it's not thick and goopy. And you'll find, because our moisturisers don't contain silicons or any sort of petrochemical type thickening agents, that the products really soak into the skin and are very effective, but without having that goopy, sweaty feeling, especially if you're in a humid climate. Okay, so let's spritz with the rose water. Let's get that skin nice and damp. Now I'm going to pop the skin primer day moisturiser on Mish, which I was just talking about. Okay, now it's in an airless pump, so you just pump it like this. Hopefully it doesn't shoot off. Yep, there we go. That's actually too much for your face. One pump that comes out of this will do your face, neck and décolletage. Okay, if you're putting one pump on your whole face, it's too much. So just dot it around. And when you're putting your moisturiser on, you should just have enough to cover your skin, not so you're slathering it on, okay, because you're just wasting it. I like to pat it on because I just feel like I don't want to stretch my skin. Getting too old. All right, okay, so I'm going to put a little bit on my neck as well. I just love this product. It's so, this is one of the first products that I started with, and it has been to date the most popular product that we have. Like, people panic when this goes out of stock. It's just, and I'm not just saying it, I've got the luxury of making products that I absolutely love, not just making things for the sake of it to fill a gap in the market. Like, if it doesn't get through the Briony test, we just don't sell it. And this is my absolute go-to. I love how absorbent it is and lightweight but effective it is. So I promise you, it's just a beautiful product, okay? And lightweight enough that you could pop it around your eyes as well. It's not too thick. Okay, one of the things that I do want to share with you before I move on to foundations is one little thing that I notice that people probably just don't think to do, they're tired, they don't care, is cleaning up under your eyes before you start your foundation application. I promise you, if you just grab a cotton tip, a bamboo one please, because we're looking after the environment, a bamboo cotton tip, because your face wash is just, you've got your eyes shut, you never can get underneath there. Now the minute I put my foundation on, even though that doesn't look like a lot, it's enough that when I put my foundation on, that little bit of blackness or brown eyeliner or whatever it is, a little bit of that is going to spread onto here, and I'm going to have grey looking under eyes. So again, another very simple step that when you get into the habit of it, takes no time at all, it's just remembering to do it, that is a massive key difference to looking fresh and not making yourself look tired, okay? Because we all, no matter how well we cleanse, and I cleanse really well, we still have this little bit of makeup left under the eye. So what you can do is either spritz your rose water on your cotton tip, grab a bit of your eye cream even, a bit of the primer is what I'm using, and you just rub it under your eye a little bit, whatever is safe for you under your eyes, because we've all got very different sensitive eyes. Don't get it in your eye like I just did. Okay, and then just rub it off, like just get rid of that. Because all of that is going to make you look tired. All right, and now I'm just gonna rub the bit of that primer in. So look how clean that is now compared to what it was. So now I'm not gonna have, I've already got dark circles. I just don't wanna add to that, all right? Let me just read some questions before. Kylie, so glad that you said aging is a luxury. I'm a palliative care nurse. Trust me, aging is a gift, but I agree, do it the best way you can. Exactly, like, there's no more certainty in this life than that we will pass. And, you know, there's nothing more freaky and scary to me than that. Some people accept that a bit more than probably I do. I like to think that I'm going to live till I'm a million, but you know, the luxury of it is that, you know, we tend to get focused on the things we don't have, the things we want, how big our bum is, how small our boobs are, how hooded our eye, like all these things we focus on, and we forget. It's very, very easy to forget, especially in social media, seeing all this awesome beautifulness around us, that, you know, the beauty of being here is the fact that you're alive, and also difference. You know, we are all different, and you know, probably 1% of the population looks one particular way, and the rest of us all have something different about us, and hey, isn't that the beauty? And again, the luxury is that you're here, okay? Whether you've got a big bum or not, you're alive, all right? So that's how I try and, you know, live my life. Courtney, you've just gone and read the reviews about that moisturiser. Awesome. Yeah, so look, you don't have to take my word for it. You know, all of the products that I'm going to show you today, they all have samples available for them, except for the eyeliner and the mascara. So I'm going to do a complete look for you. So I'm always a big advocate of people sampling products first, for many reasons. One, you sample something in the luxury of your own home, your own lighting. You don't feel intimidated because someone's watching you put it on. You know, for hygiene reasons, you're not playing around with testers, so you get to sample it in your own home. The other thing I love about sampling a product is that it prevents landfill. So if you buy something full size and don't like it, then what's going to happen? You're going to probably toss it or whatever. And to me, that is something that I'm really passionate about, is plastic and landfill. I'm like the Steve Irwin of plastic. I just hate the stuff, and I just love protecting our awesome land. And obviously, you know, for suitability, you know, maybe you might have a sensitivity to something. Just because something is natural, just because we have all of these amazing certifications, and for those of you that don't know, we're certified cruelty-free, vegan, allergen-free, toxin-free, and we are certified Australian-made. And we also are undergoing a palm oil-free certification as well. That is going to take a long time, because it's really, like the vegan certification, the palm oil certification is really hard to get, so bear with me, we are working on that. But even with all those certifications and all the free from, we don't use anything that's synthetic, it's not going to suit everybody. I'm totally aware of that. Like, I think people are kidding themselves when they're promoting their products or their brand that everyone will like their products. Like, you've just got to accept some people just won't. Some people won't be able to wear it for whatever reason. Just because something's natural doesn't mean it's going to suit you. So please buy samples. I've not really heard in the 11 years that I've had or started ADORN many people that don't like ADORN or can't use it, but there's always going to be one. So try the samples, and of course read the reviews, because the reviews, we can't make them. There's all the reviews there, so obviously you'll be able to see what other people think about the products. Hi Melissa, thanks for tuning in. I know it's sad, you've got to go. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is the light to medium hydrating cream stick. So it's a mineral and organic stick. So the colours in the foundation ranges are made from pure minerals, and then the consistency is created by various different botanical ingredients. So this one I'm going to show you because we've been out of stock of it for a long time, and I know everybody was desperate to get the light to medium cream stick. So if you have been waiting for this, quickly jump on and grab it because it did go back into stock yesterday, and hopefully it stays in stock and we don't sell out again. So I'm going to show you this particular colour, and I'm also going to show you what this product looks like. Hey Anne-Louise again, yeah, thank you, I'm glad. So there's a little video on how to use the sample box too, so please check that out so you know what to do and when to do it all. Hey SJ, that's good. Thank you, I'm glad to hear that. I love it because people always say to me, you've got great skin, and I'm like, it's ADORN, like, because it's not that great, like it's really the foundation. Okay, so what I like about the foundation stick, actually first of all, I want to talk to you about foundation because skin is an organ, okay? It changes all the time, and it changes depend on your health, it changes depending on the environment that you're in, and I'm a firm believer that you need 2 colours and possibly 2 different foundation types, okay? So you're never going to be the same foundation colour all year. I don't care if you stay out of the sun or you don't. You're always going to change your skin a little bit because you get indirect sunlight, okay? So you're never going to just say, well, I am light to medium forever. You could continue to use the one colour and create a darker shade by using a bronzer to lift the colour, so you can get around it that way. You could tone your foundation shade down if it was too dark and you were trying to save on money in the winter months because you've obviously lightened up a bit and you don't want to buy another colour. You could tone it down by putting a setting powder over the top. I'm not saying that it will definitely match it exactly, but there's ways that you can lift a colour or tone down a colour. But if you can, ideally you have 2 foundation shades, and the beauty is you can mix them when you're somewhere in between as well. Now, product or foundation type, I also do think that, and I personally have 2 different ones that I use, 2 different foundation types because your skin changes, and so often I hear people say, oh, I used, it'll be a different brand, I used this particular brand for many years and then all of a sudden it just didn't suit me anymore and it was just not a good product. It's not the product necessarily, it's the fact that your skin's changed its needs. So it may be that, you know, instead of that particular formulation, you now need to try a liquid, or maybe you know, maybe you need to try a loose mineral with an oil under it. You know, a lot of people think loose foundations are drying, but they're not. They're not drying at all, but if you want them to look dewy and skin-like, then you just put a facial oil underneath. Rosehip oil, mix it with your moisturiser, one of our awesome facial oils. Any facial oil that's natural without anything synthetic and goopy in it, just mix that with your moisturiser, and then any loose mineral foundation in our range will look skin-like because the oil and the loose minerals mix together and turn into a liquid. You know, you might go through a stage where your skin's a bit dry, a bit patchy. Maybe you've had a cold, you've got dry nose. Maybe your pores have enlarged around here. Maybe you're hormonal at the moment. Whatever it is, I think you'll find that not one foundation type will always work. And the beauty with the ADORN range is the foundations all work together. So if you did decide you're a cream stick girl, but you also like the loose minerals, you've got the beauty of wearing them separately or together. Like if you go to an event, you might want to use the stick and then put the loose over the top, and then it's like camera ready finish. You know, the same liquid and the loose you can wear together. So there's just some loose information about the foundations and how to get your head around picking the right solution for you. So before I pop this on, I just want to quickly check. Okay, so Brittany's saying that the ADORN oil-free liquid foundation causes pimples for her. It's not the best coverage from me. Okay, so look, sometimes when you change skincare or foundations, your skin does go into a bit of a shock because maybe the product that you used previously was clogging the skin, holding everything at bay, and now all of a sudden you're wearing something that's porous and is letting the skin breathe, so it goes through a detoxification. So it can bring existing pimples to the surface or existing congestion to the surface. Usually that's the reason. A product to cause pimples is usually something that would happen over a long period of time. But if you feel for you, like from a coverage point of view, then as I said, you can try the loose minerals over the top, and then that may give you that next level of coverage that you like. So coverage is always a hard thing. Some people I meet, they're like, oh, I don't like much coverage at all. They literally don't like not seeing a bit of skin. And then other people want so much coverage, they're like, pretty much want the whole stick on their face. So everybody's different with that, okay? But you can build it, you can layer it, and you can use different foundations over the top. Okay, so the issue with large pores, Anne-Louise, is there's a trick with that, and I'm gonna show you how to do that with a primer in a minute after you've put your foundation on. Okay, so when you've got a large pore, you're putting your foundation on, it's sticking to the edge of that pore. I don't care how good the foundation is, nothing can get into large pores, and dry skin is another one. Okay, so what you need to do is put your foundation on and then let it settle for a bit, do your eyes, do your lips, do whatever, let the foundation soak in a bit, and then you come back and grab a tiny bit of your primer or whatever moisturizer you're using, like I mean a minuscule amount, and then wherever you've got your large pores, if it's here, nose, you pat it over the top of the foundation. Now what that's doing is the warmth of your fingers and that moisturizer together is pushing that foundation and thinning it out a bit so it's not so thick. It's pushing it into the pores more, and I promise you that's the only way you're going to get around large pores. Okay, you can also try spritzing the rose water over the top and patting it if the pores are not too bad, and that might help you with that particular solution. I totally get you. I've got really big craters around my nose from squeezing blackheads when I was younger, and I'm so annoyed I did it because I've got scars from them now. But you know, it's the bane of my life. But that particular thing is a little tip that works quite well. So hopefully that answers your question. And Shannon, you use the mineral powders and you mix them. So different colours maybe that you use. That's the beauty of the refills with the loose minerals, is that if you're in between shades, instead of buying 2 pots, grab a pot and grab a refill, and then you can create your own colour. Now, my suggestion to creating your own mineral foundation colour is to sample the shades, figure out where you are. You might be in between light medium and medium olive. Figure out where you are, mix them together, and then if that works, then I would grab a pot of minerals and a refill, tip the 2 into, say, a sandwich bag or something, shake it and mix them up, and then tip half of it back into your pot and keep the other half of your created formulation in your sandwich bag for when you need to refill your pot. So that's probably the easiest way to create your own shade, is just mixing it in a bag. All right. Linda, how are you? I love you. I will get round to putting this on, but I'm trying. So I love to interact with you guys and answer your questions as well, because I know how difficult it is to get answers around beauty products, especially if you don't have the time or the money to go and see a beauty therapist or maybe a skin tech as well. So you've got celiac disease, my skin has improved from excluding the gluten. Yeah, so we don't have gluten-free makeup is a thing for those of you that don't realise. So Linda, I'm glad that you've had good results from that. So PR, hey, how are you? You were just in the other day, weren't you, I think, from memory. You use a hydrating cream foundation and the BB cream for weekends. Yes. Yeah, that's definitely my option, because the BB cream in the ADORN range is a little bit more coverage than some brands. And it's got a good SPF in it as well. It's not too, like, the heavier the higher the SPF rather, the thicker the product tends to be. So if you're looking for a product that's got like 50 plus or something in it, it's going to be zinc-like and really thick, and not always an easy product to work with. So the lower the SPF, the thinner the product will usually be, because the natural sunscreen is derived from zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, and you know, that's a thick mineral, okay? So to get that higher level of SPF, they've got to use more of that, and it becomes a thicker product. So if you're just out of the sun, but you just want to, I suppose, protect yourself from indirect sunlight, maybe you're just going to be in the sun for a little bit here and there, then a 15 plus is enough. Like that's, you know, that's enough for you. So looking forward to showing a sample. Yes, Kelly? Okay, so I'm going to get on to putting this on. So the hydrating cream foundation, it's a wind-up stick, which I find from a usability point of view really effective in that I can just draw it on. Now, light to medium, I'm looking up because I'm trying to get my head above your comments. So I can't see what I'm doing. All right, hang on. So the light to medium, let me see if this light, whoa, no, we don't want that. No, we don't want that light, people, do we? That's frightening. Okay, hang on a minute. Is that a bit better, people? Is that light better? I think it might be a bit better. Okay, I'll leave that lighting on. Just let me know if this lighting's better than what it was. All right, so Kelly, slightly off topic, your brows are... Oh, thanks, guys. Yes, well, look, the shape I can say is all me, from being a bit of a brow sculptor in my past life, but I have had a bit of help with some tattooing. The ends, as I've gotten older, have decided to go south, as most things do as you get a bit older. You tend to lose hair where you don't want to and gain it where you don't. So I have had a bit of tattooing on the ends to just thicken these little babies up at the end. So, all right. So I'm just dotting on the cream stick, okay. Now, I know yesterday a few people asked me about the biodegradable packaging, which we're introducing, which is this one here. Okay, so that's the biodegradable packaging that we are so excitedly introducing for the concealers, the cream blush. But unfortunately, due to the molds that they use to make the cylinders, they don't have one yet that's big enough for the cream stick. So the biggest I can get them in is 5 mils or 5 grams, and that's just not big enough. You'd go through that in no time. So I am working on biodegradable packaging for the stick, but until we can produce a mold that's big enough for this, we just have to stick with this one at the moment. I'm sorry, it breaks my heart, but we're working on it. All right. Now, I've dotted this on, and again, if you want to layer it, you can. If you are happy with it or want to make it really thin, you can. So basically with the hydrating cream stick, put it on. If you think it's too heavy, you could put a bit of primer on your face. And these are all little tips and tricks that you can just work out yourself. So don't be scared. And all of the ADORN products mix together really well. So if you put this cream on and you're like, wow, that's too thick, or maybe you've got a dry patch, dab your primer on. If all of it looks too thick, dab a bit of primer on and then buff it with your kabuki, and it will thin it out and make it look more skin-like, okay? So I'm using the kabuki brush. I have still got a bit of mask in my nose, okay. All right, so I'm using the kabuki brush. And you'll probably notice I'm not putting the foundation around my eyes. The reason for that is I prefer to put concealer there, because I just find that even though this brush is super, super soft and you know, you can just gently rub your foundation on, I still think the skin's such a delicate area that the less you touch it, the better, especially when you're getting to my age, you know, you or any age. If you can just minimize what you're doing to that skin, the better. So I just find tapping a concealer on is more effective because you're getting it on a little bit heavier, and you're just causing less trauma to that area. So you'll notice that I've still got dark circles because I'm not putting the foundation there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to answer questions while I'm... Oh, so Cherie, I'm using the light to medium, which is the colour that just came back into stock. And it's probably my true colour. Like if you look at my neck, and I haven't even blended it on my neck. I have to say though, I'm a bit of a sucker for the medium olive colour, and that's probably the colour that you most often will see me wearing with photographs, simply because the light medium and the medium olive are similar tones, as in they're both more sort of that yellow base. And I just find for me, the medium olive, if I blended it a little bit down my neck, I just feel a little bit warmer and less dead looking. That's just me. So one of the things that I do talk about quite a lot, especially for us more mature people, however you define mature, that's up to you. Some people think mature skin isn't until you're, I don't know, 50 or 60, that's fine too. But, you know, when you're in your 40s, your skin's a lot different to when you're in your 20s. And one of the advice, one bit of advice that I do give people is that if you can go, you never pick a colour that you're not. But if you can pick a foundation colour that's the correct tone, as in being more pink base or yellow base, but if you can go a little bit darker, go a little bit darker, because when you look lighter, light things draw attention to your skin. So if you think about white walls, we paint white walls so that an area looks bigger, okay? And it can look stark if there's no colour introduced into the room, and it's a little bit the same with your face. If you wear a colour that's too light for you, it will draw attention to dry skin, it will draw attention to large pores, because the foundation is going to sit around it making that whole of that pore look darker. It's going to draw attention to fine lines. So where you can, if you can go a little bit darker, I always recommend it, because you will look healthier and you will look more youthful, okay? So, tip, you always colour match to your décolletage, okay? And people will say to me, oh, but then that means, yeah, I agree that my chest is darker than my neck and face, but then I'm going to have to put a bit of foundation down my neck. And I'm like, well, yes, because otherwise you're always going to be darker here, or have all that sun damage, or maybe you've just got more of a reddy, pinky chest. Maybe you've got lots of, you know, beautiful orange freckles all over you. Whatever it is, if this area looks darker, but you're colour matching to your neck, and our necks are always lighter than our face because the chin acts as a roof. Okay, so this is always going to be light. If you colour match to your neck, you're always going to look lighter than your body, and that's aging, okay? So I know it's stepping outside your comfort zone, but one of the biggest mistakes I see time and time again with all of the colour matches that we have come in, with all of the colour matches that are submitted to us, whenever we recommend the colour, 9 times out of 10, anyone that's sort of 35 plus disagrees with us. They think they're lighter, and it's because they're used to colour matching to their neck and not to their freckles, or not to their sun damage, or not to their pigmentation. So you need to colour match to the area of your skin that looks the darkest and that takes over the most of you. So, you know, if you've got fair skin, I agree, you've got lots of beautiful orangey sort of freckles on your face, but your skin's fair, yes, you've got fair skin. But if you colour match to your fair skin and you put a fair foundation on, the minute you put that over your pinkish or reddish freckles, it's going to make them go pink and not look right. It just, so you need to match to the freckle. Yes, it's going to make your skin look a little bit darker, but I promise you, you'll look so much healthier that way, okay? The same for us that have damaged décolletage. Colour match to your décolletage. I promise you, if you don't get comments that you look healthier all of a sudden and people can't figure out why, I promise you it's because you've gone to a warmer foundation colour than your usual one that's too light, okay? I'm just reading some questions before I move on to the next stage of the makeup. How often should you clean your kabuki brush? That's completely up to you. I'm a little bit lazy. I don't often clean them until I know they really need it. But just to give you a bit of an idea, the kabuki brushes are made with this black tip, And the reason I've had that put there is so that it's like an indicator line. So the minute you're getting colour down here, okay, it probably means that your foundation has buried itself further in, and the oils from your skin and that foundation are in there having a party, breeding bacteria. So anything that falls below there, it's probably a good time to give it a wash. Now, what I recommend is a bar of soap, one that you know you can use, and you just, under warm water, roll your kabuki brush around onto that bar of soap, constantly wringing it out until no colour comes out. Dry it upside down. If you dry it this way, the water will rot the brush and the glue, and your bristles will fall out over time. You need to dry it upside down. For those of you that have got acne or a skin condition, that you may want to use our brush cleaner. It's an antibacterial brush cleaner that you can use topically. What I mean by that is if you just spritz the brush cleaner onto a tissue, and then you just rub your kabuki brush over the top. What that will do is it will sterilize the top of the bristles from any bacteria reinfecting your face. Okay, so it's really up to you how you, some people like to do that anyway every day, but it's really up to you which way you go. You can put our foundations on with a damp brush, even the loose. It just means that they'll probably go on, the loose minerals will probably go on a little bit heavier, so just be careful how much you put on your brush. Kabuki brush, what you're curious about. Look, it's just the origin of the brush. So it's basically because it's a fat, stubby little brush. It's just a name in the industry that it's a bit like a contour. It's just the name that it's been given. So Cherie, you've got the light to medium and the loose minerals, wanting to order the stick foundation. Yeah, so that's often what I do is I'll have the medium olive in the stick. Yes, I'm showing you the light to medium today. I'm going to just put a bit more of this on my nose while I'm chatting. I tend to use the medium olive in the stick, and then I will use the light to medium over the top in the minerals. Okay, now the reason I do that is because I use the two different colours, is because I'm not really medium olive. So I want to be, so I put that on and I blend it down my neck where it's seamless. Then to get maximum really flawless coverage, and you can see the coverage, okay, I haven't done my eyes yet, but you can see the coverage is really beautiful. But if you want that next level, sealing it down with the loose minerals will give it that next level of coverage. And I find that if you put the same colour minerals over the same colour organic or liquid or cream, the two dark colours together get darker. So it is better when you're wanting to set your makeup down, or when you are trying to get a heavier coverage, to use a loose mineral that's the same tone, so yellow base or pink base, as your skin, but a slightly lighter colour. Because putting the, so if I was to use medium olive in the stick and the minerals together, they would get darker together, and you don't necessarily want that. Okay, so that's why I do recommend, if you're going to have two products together, to use the lighter version in the minerals to set it down. Okay, all right, so now I'm just going back and I'm spot covering a few glorious sunspots that I've achieved over the years, and I'm happy with that coverage now. Okay, so I'm just going to put this stick away, move on to the next stage. I have so grabbed the wrong, girls, I know you're watching this, can someone please bring me in the Peggy brow dust? I've just grabbed quartz, and if I put that on my eyebrows, I will look like Morticia Addams. Now, no one needs to be looking like that. So, Kelly, no one's listening to me. Give me 1 second, guys. Can I get Peggy brow dust? I'm back, sorry about that. I can't be putting on Megan brow dust, it's too dark. I will freak you out, okay? While I'm waiting for that, let me just answer more questions. I love how interactive you guys are. Like, it's fantastic that you're so interested to get this right. So, and you're interested in the ethos and the philosophy of everything that ADORN stands for. So I love all of that. I'm light to medium in winter and mix it. Yes, exactly, Kerry. Good idea. Thank you. Appreciate that. And liquid with a lighter powder on the top. Yeah, so again, Hayley, like as I mentioned before, if you've got a lighter coloured liquid or a cream or your BB and you're not quite that light anymore, you can correct it by using a darker product over the top, like a bronzer or even a darker mineral foundation. I guess what I'm trying to say is that you can always fix what you've done as long as you've picked the right tone for your skin. So if you haven't got 2 shades but you're looking pale because you've just come back from Bali and your normal foundation is light to medium, grab your bronzer, dust it all and lift it up. You know, you can create colours by introducing a bronzer or introducing a lighter or a darker foundation colour. So have a play and you'll get it right, okay? Yes, that's a good, yeah, Linda, so you mix the fair and light together. Yes, a fair is really fair and so is the light really, but I'm glad you found a balance between the two. Kelly, what if you have rosacea, yellow or pink undertones? Okay, so if you've got rosacea, again, you do still need to take your skin colour your skin tone into consideration. And I know because people have got rosacea, they've got the redness, they're like, oh, I don't want to put anything pink on my skin, and I get that. So yes, you do want to try and, if you can, opt for something that has more of a yellow base to it because the yellow counteracts the redness. But in saying that, it's not always as clear as that because you might actually be a freckly complexion that is more of a pink base. So I couldn't put that yellow on you or it would look weird. So we've got to try and find what's going to, I suppose, neutralise that redness but also still match your skin. But I can say, and for those of you that are on here, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you'll find that the loose minerals are shockingly amazing at covering redness. Even if you are a pink undertone, like the medium tan or dark tan, women just freak out at how well that, they just think there's no way you're going to cover that redness. And it does. I promise you it does. So don't be scared of getting the right colour because I can promise you, because we don't use any synthetic colours, the pigments are real, they just cover so well and they neutralise red, angry skin because the zinc, zinc, we put that on babies' bums, zinc that we put on our face back in the day to help protect against the sun. It's a really beautiful calming property for redness, and that's what our foundations are made out of, is that zinc oxide. It's so super effective at calming red, angry skin, no matter what the redness is. So when you use the brush cleaner, can you put it on straight after using the foundation? No, you can use it, so the brush, the spritzer that we have is certified allergen-free, toxin-free, blah, 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 blah. All of the products are certified the same way and safe to use on sensitive skin. And yes, you can spritz it on the brush and clean it straight away and then use it straight onto the face. It is fine. You don't need to wait for that at all. Okay, so yes, so the foundation is, the coverage is as heavy or as light as you want it to be, and again you can pair them together, and again it will always come down to your skin type. For drier, dehydrated skins, foundation always lasts longer than people who have got an oilier skin. But then in saying that, when you're wearing an ADORN product, if you do suffer from oiliness, all we need to do is pat your face with a tissue to get your oil off. It won't remove the makeup. So that's what's great about the, especially the loose mineral foundations. If you suffer from products not lasting, opt for that one because it's the longest lasting out of all of our products. And then you can blot your sweat or blot your oil, and then the foundation will remain. Okay, I'm about to do the brow dust, Alison, so I'll go through that in a moment. Shannon. Yes, thank you for confirming the coverage, Shannon. I appreciate that. Kerry, no, I would agree. I would agree that the loose minerals do cover better, especially for redness, simply because it's a water-resistant and sweat-resistant product, and it tends to stay on better. So I would agree that it definitely does. All right, so the next step of my makeup routine after I put my foundation on and I'm happy with the coverage is to do my brows. Now the reason I do my brows next is because I don't want to put concealer on and then I get all this brow dust on top of the concealer, and then I'm going to look like I've got worse bags than I started with. So do your brow dust next, because then I can just gently sweep any fallout that I get away. Now I use an angle brush. Okay, now if you have a wet angle brush, your brow dust will go on a lot darker and heavier and more precise. But if you use a dry angle brush, then it will just go on more natural. Okay, now I'm not going to go through how to apply the brow dust. You can check out my tutorials on how to do that. I'd say the girls will probably put some links to this live either now or later on when they see it, but just so you can see the difference by just putting a little bit of brow dust. I know my brows are a pretty good shape already, but just using a bit of brow dust, rather than it looking waxy like a pencil, it just fills in anything that is missing, any gaps. It just gives a bit more body and boldness to the brow. Okay, and it's also something that you can use to correct your brow as well. So, you know, if you've got hooded eyes and your eyes are a little bit sort of droopy, you can maybe just give yourself a little bit more of an arch by just adding a bit more brow dust to the top and creating the illusion that your eyes are a little bit more open. Now, I'm not putting a lot of product on, I'm like literally putting it on the tip. And again, there's a really good tutorial I've done on how to shape your brows properly with the brow dust, how to measure them up. So head to, perfect, thanks Kelly, I can see you've just put that tutorial up. So watch that, guys, because having well-defined brows really can open up your eye. Don't make your arch too high, because that can be quite aging as well, all right? But the thicker the brows, the more youthful you tend to look, okay? So it's about just getting your brows nicely defined and obviously to suit your face shape as well, all right? So this is the Peggy colour that I'm using. One of the rules I try and stick to, I suppose, and each to their own. There's no right or wrong. You can do what you want, that's fine. Like some people like really dark eyebrows and they've got blonde hair, that's fine. If you're happy, who cares what other people think? But if you're curious as to what would suit you best from a looking natural point of view, the trick is to go no more than say half a shade to a shade darker than your natural hair if you're fair. So if you're blonde, no more than say half a shade to a shade darker, so you don't look too stark and contrasting. And if you've got dark hair, the opposite. So try and go down a shade. So whilst my hair colour probably more matches the Megan brow dust, because it's a dark chocolate, I don't want to look like I've got dark and dark. So I'm using the Peggy brows, which is more of a taupe, it's a lighter brown. Now, even though this looks quite dark on me, it's because my hairs are dark. For those of you that are sort of mid, like got a lighter, like that's how light it is. So see my brow and see that. So the Peggy's not necessarily going to look this dark on you. If your natural hair colour and your brow colour is lighter than mine, that will be probably the true colour the brow dust will look on you. It's just that I've got darker brow hairs that it's looking and appearing darker. And again, why I'm not going with a darker brow dust, because the two darks together would just make me look ridiculous. All right, so that's the brow dust. Okay, I love it because it's sweat resistant, so I don't have to worry about losing an eyebrow during the day, especially for those of you that don't have a lot of your own natural brow hair. You want something that's going to stay put and be sweat resistant, which this brow dust is. I'm just going to answer some of these questions before I move on to the next one. Which of the mineral foundation and stick, which out of the mineral foundation and the stick foundation hides your wrinkles more? If there was only a secret answer to that. Vicky, I don't reckon there's anything that hides our wrinkles more. I really, I have to be honest, I honestly don't think any makeup hides it. I think makeup can make it look worse, but I don't think that the makeup should make it look any less than what it is. So I know that we've got fine lines or large pores, or if you've got something that is a wrinkle, which under a microscope is like an indentation, it's like a hollow in the skin. The same with large pores. You can't hide that unless you are going to use a product that's really, really thick and it fills that area in. But I promise you, if people look at you, you will look like you've got a lot of makeup wearing that type of product. You will look makeup-y. So if you don't want to wear those thick, really almost theatre type makeup, if you don't want to wear that and you want to go for something that still looks natural, I know we all want to try and minimise things, but I have to be honest, nothing will hide your wrinkles, okay? Things can make them look worse, but it can't hide them. So my suggestion is, and I'm, you know, the same, you just put your makeup on, and if you feel like your makeup is accentuating pores or wrinkles, you grab your moisturizer, even if it's not an ADORN one, or the ADORN skin primer, because it's quite lightweight, and it works in synergy with our foundation, so it won't take the foundation off. But what it will do is, if you just put a little bit like this, and if your forehead's your issue because you've got dry, deep wrinkles there, maybe you've got wrinkles here, you know, you just pat that primer on. And what that's going to do is it's going to push your makeup into your wrinkles a little bit more, your pores more, and it's going to minimize the appearance of them. Okay, it's not going to hide them, and I'm not going to lie to anyone. And I think if anyone tells you that it does, that their product hides wrinkles, well, I want to see it, because in over 20 years in this industry, I've not found anything that does that without you walking around with no expression, first of all, because the minute you smile, things do gather with those thick theatre type makeup products. So I'm sorry I don't have a miracle answer to that. I'm sure someone in the world's still working on that. Linda, it covers grey hair. So if you've got grey eyebrows, you would probably maybe stick with the Fair Betty Brow Dust, because it's not a tint, it's not going to cover your brow colour, but probably the most forgiving would be to stick with the Fair Betty Brow Dust, because it's sort of a blonde, a mousy blonde colour is probably a good description of it, and it suits grey hair really well. Okay, Sarah, ADORN definitely doesn't make wrinkles look worse, which is why you went off all of your other makeup and fell in love with this one. Well, that's great. Thank you for that feedback. That's awesome. Oh, good, Vicky. I'm glad. So, give the primer a little go over the top. Got trouble with your hairdryer plug, Alison? Please elaborate. I'm good, but I'm not quite sure I can help you with your hairdryer plug. And love your honesty. Yeah, that's my pleasure. I currently, there's enough nonsense going on without more people trying to pull the wool over our eyes. Okay, Naomi, maybe, I think if you just, probably don't want to listen to the whole live again because it's been going on for a while, but there are some tutorials on how to minimise the appearance of makeup looking, you know, accentuating fine lines and pores. So either watch this again, or you can have a look at a couple of those tutorials that I talk about. So the next step, after I've done my brows and I've just dusted away any fallout that I might have got, I then go on to hiding these babies. Like, dark circles are the bane of my life. Again, bags, you can't do anything about them. You've either got them or you don't. Yes, sleep and sickness and all those things can make it worse. But at the end of the day, you're stuck with them, okay? And there's not really much you can do about it that's permanent, all right? Unless you want to opt for some permanent options that are out there. But if you don't want to look at any sort of plastic surgery type things, then there's nothing that's going to help this other than a bit of concealer, all right? So What I love about the concealer in the ADORN range is that it's not particularly thick, so it doesn't sit in lines. And if you find that it is, it's because you've put too much on. And again, I always talk about our products being very pigmented and needing less. Okay, so I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. Now, this is the Peachy Sleep Concealer. Clearly it's my one. This is like the holy grail of my face looking like it's not dead or tired. Like seriously, if I walked around like this, you would think this poor girl needs 12 months worth of sleep. So this product is honestly, you need it in your life, especially if you're a mum like me of 3 kids and you just don't get any sleep. Maybe you don't have any kids and you've just got these bags, I don't know. But I've put this much on, I've just rubbed my finger on that much. Now that's too much, okay, that is too much. I'm gonna now rub it on my other finger and that will do 2 eyes, okay? And when you're covering up your dark circles, you always want to get this corner here because we're all dark in there because there's a lot of veins clustering together in there. You want to get in there and you want to just put the concealer on the area of concern. If you can avoid putting too much under the lash line and if you can avoid putting it in this area, that's great because this is where we've got our wrinkles or our happy lines. And this is where if you put too much concealer in this little area, you're going to have it sticking where you don't want. We don't have really wrinkles in here, so this is where you focus on your concealer. If you do have a bit of a red patch because maybe you've got weepy eyes, then just put a little bit in the corner, but let's just try and avoid it there. All right, so now I've separated that concealer a bit, and I'm all about just doing things at home where I'm just dabbing it on like an eye cream. So it's 2 things at one time, but I'm going to just do one at a time so you can see the difference, okay? I'm going to pop it in there. Hang on. I want to do a reveal. Let me just try and hope to God I can blend without... Wait, I've got another mirror. I want to show you. Let's have a look here. Now I've got an eyelash stuck in my eye. Hang on. Get that off. Ta-da! Look at that. Tell me that is not a massive improvement in 2 seconds to the other eye. Like, why would you not put this on? Okay, so in the morning, as I mentioned, it would be you do 2 eyes at the one time, okay, but I've just done one. I've just done the one. I'm going to get right up into the corner of my eye here. Now, when I'm having a lazy day, I like to use my concealer for the tops of my eye as a nude eyeshadow. Okay, so what I do is whatever's left, I'm just trying to gently, see how I'm just sticking, and then as I said, if you've got these corners, you can just put a bit there because we can all be a bit red. But we've all got veins on our eyelids, so what I do is I just get a bit of the concealer and I pop a bit on my eye lid, because look at that, it's nice, it's neutralised, it's nice, it's different. Who loves Kath and Kim? Bring them back, I say. All right, so that's gone on nicely, and it's a quick nude eyeshadow. It's also neutralised any red or blue veins, because the Peachy Sleep has a peachy apricot undertone to it, which neutralises red and blue and all those yucky colours that we tend to have around the eyes. So see, all instantly I look like I've got bigger eye area, okay? All right, and then make sure you don't have any lines, like blend it away down there. Okay, so that's the Peachy Sleep Concealer. You could put it around your nose if you've got red veins around your nose, so I like to do that a little bit. Again, if you've got large pores like I do, just put the concealer on, get the coverage that you're happy with, finish your makeup off, and then go back and use a bit of primer to push it in further. Now I have a bit of psoriasis on above my eyebrows here, and also a patch here, so I like to neutralise that redness with a bit of that Peachy Sleep. Now you put concealer on after your foundation, people, and the reason for that is if you put it on first, you put your foundation over the top, what are you doing? You're rubbing it off, you're wasting time and you're wasting product. Your foundation will get rid of probably 90% of your flaws, and then that other little 10% that you can't get rid of with the foundation, you tap your concealer on over the top, and then you could set it down with a setting powder or whatever you want to do. But don't waste your time and don't waste product by putting this on first. It's a very old school way of doing it, and I promise you the results are much better if you do it after. Okay, let me just quickly have a look at some more questions. These lives always go for a really long time, which is great. It means you're all loving the interaction and getting questions answered. So keep shooting them through. Remember, no questions stupid. Don't think that you look like a fool if you don't know how to put mascara on. Just ask the question, okay? So pigmentation, yes, that's another. I do talk about pigmentation, I believe, in one of my tutorials. Debbie, I will go through that in probably another live, because that's a little bit of a technical thing I need to show you. But have a look at some of the tutorials that we've got, and I think I cover that in one of them, but I promise you I'll do a live about that soon, okay? And everybody else is just saying, wow, I know. Like, I looked like I seriously was very ill before, didn't I? And now, hello, sister. Okay, so now the next product that I will move on to after I've done my under eyes is using some bronzer if I'm wanting to define my face, but I'm not going to worry about that today. I just want to keep things really simple. So I'm going to show you my trick with using blush. Okay, so when I find the biggest struggle people have with blush is that they want to use a colour that's got a pop of colour to it, but then they feel like they end up looking like a clown, okay, because they've got this really bright colour that they're wanting to wear, but then they're putting it on and they've got this big stripe of pink or apricot or whatever. So the trick to wearing pops of colour when it comes to cream foundations, cream blush or even loose blush, if you're wanting to move away from more those neutral palettes, you want a pop of colour, this is the trick. You pick a blush that is a neutral colour or more of an earthy colour that's just, I suppose, a bit complementary to your skin. You put that on first, then you put the pop of colour over the top of that. So the best two for that is the Spring Mademoiselle or the Spring in the Loose blush as well. Pop that on first, or the Winter blush that we have in the Cream or the Loose. Okay, you could use either one of those, and you just put some on this part of your hand, okay, because if you have a look at it, it's like a chicken drumstick, doesn't it? What's going on there? So this part of your hand is very similar to the shape of your cheeks. Okay, so it's a very quick and easy way of blending blush on without it looking placed. All right, so just put a little bit like that, mix your hand together. This is of your neutral blush color first. Now you start from the edge of your brow, edge of your nose, midway from your nose, that's your starting point. And now we're going to pat that on, and I'm just feeling my cheekbone, and I'm just rolling that around my cheekbone, and I'm going up into my temples. Okay, now this is the spring that I've got on, so you can take that quite high up. Maybe with the winter you might not want to go so far into the temples, but now I've got that spring cream blush. Now for those of you that have got fair skin, you probably love this as a product on its own. I love the spring cream blush because it gives more coverage to my cheek area, number one, where I've got a bit of sun damage. It almost acts as extra bit of concealer or foundation, but with a hint of a nice pinky flush. So I always put that one on, and then I'll put the pop of colour that I want on. And today I'm just picking the Coral Radiance. I'm a coral girl, I love it. But you might choose the summer, you might use one of the autumn colours as well. It's up to you. So you just grab You can't even see how much I've put on my fingernail, okay? So small. So when you're sampling our products and you think, oh, is that all I'm getting in a sample? When you're using that amount, like you can't even see, the samples themselves just last forever, okay? So, tiny little bit, and I'm just putting it again on the ring finger. I'm mixing the two together, and you start off lightly and then you can add more. Again, right in these spots here, which is edge of my brow, halfway through my nose, and you just, in a little circle, blend that little bit of colour. Look at that. It's freshness, not trialed on cheeks. It's just a fresh pop of colour. And girls, that's how, or girls and guys, that's how you get pop of colour into your skincare or your makeup look without looking like a clown. Now, if that's not bright enough for you, that's fine. Grab that little bit more, which I like a little bit more colour. And if you put too much on, I'm going to show you how to fix it too, because if you just go too heavy, you can fix it. You never have to take it off. Okay, we're getting some peachy cheeks here. Coral Radiance, I love you. Okay, so that's a bit more what I would be happy with. Now, a little trick, especially if you're a bit lazy like me in the mornings or time poor, whatever I've got left on, I tend to put on my eyes, just in the crease. And now I've got instant eyeballs that are done. Because if you know it matches your cheeks, it's gonna match. And again, you don't go putting too much on, because you don't have pink eyes, but enough that that just looks like I've got a really nice natural bit of eyeshadow on. Okay, so just what's left, don't need to waste it. All right, if you put too much on and you're like, wow, that's just, whoa, I look like a clown, grab your blush brush or any loose sort of brush that you've got. Either grab a little bit of your foundation, maybe some of your setting powder, and just gently sweep over the top of it and it will tone it down. Or grab your kabuki brush, it's got a little bit of foundation on it. That little bit of foundation will be enough if you sweep over the top to tone down the blush, but not put the blush on here per se. All right, so that's just a little trick and you can do that with your bronzer as well. If you do that trick that I teach to contour your face with bronzer to look a bit warmer, if you put too much on, you can always tone it down with your kabuki brush afterwards. All right, Kayleen, the blush is the cream blush in the Coral Radiance. So that's probably my favourite one in the ADORN range for a pop of colour. I do use the Summer as well, but I tend to find that I just am drawn to coral, so that's just me. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything else with my eyes today because this is just about having fresh looking skin. We started off talking about skincare. We then talked about popping on the Australian pink clay that we make from kaolin and red iron oxides. It's suitable for all skin types. It brings blood flow to the top of the skin, so it creates plump, firm looking skin temporarily. It also helps balance the skin. It helps hydrate it, believe it or not, as well. So it's my little tip before I'm going out as to what I will do as an extra step to look like I've got tight, flawless looking skin, okay? And then we've discussed how to use the cream stick foundation for those of you that have just jumped on, and I've used the colour in light to medium because that was a colour that was out of stock for some time, and also so you can see that. And we've also discussed now how to do brows, how to choose the right colour, and of course the Peachy Sleep Concealer and the blush. Now, these lives are more about interaction, you asking me questions, you get to watch what I'm doing in slow-mo. This particular look shouldn't take you any more than a few minutes to do, but we're talking and we're discussing, so it does take a lot longer, and I love that you're interacting with me, so they do tend to be drawn out. So for that reason, we do have the tutorials on the tutorial page, and so if in this live you're like, oh, I wish I knew how to do the brows like she just did, then go to the tutorial page or some of the links in this live, and that will direct you to more specific handheld tips that I go through to do specific things. Okay, so the lives are a bit more generic. All right. Beautiful. Thanks, Kayleen and Anne. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pop on, I'm just looking at my little stash that I'm not forgetting anything. Oh, okay. So now what I'm going to do is, if, as I said before, if you want to have more of a matte finish to your makeup, you might decide to put a bit of loose minerals, you know, in your T-zone. You might want to, oh, sorry guys, I don't know what happened there. So you might want to matte down your makeup with some loose minerals or a matte setting powder, especially around your T-zone. If you are sweaty around that area, that's fine. Or you might prefer more of a satin finish, that's up to you. At this point in time, if you wanted to have more of a dewy looking skin, then you could use the rose water spritz. I mentioned at the beginning of this live that I love the rose water mist to get the skin looking skin-like. So once I'm happy with all of the skin products, I tend to spritz that. It soaks the makeup in a little bit further and it looks more natural, and that's the look that I prefer. So I've just spritzed my face, and it's a testament that your makeup won't run off, okay? It is water resistant, it's not waterproof. Like if you go rubbing your face, you clearly need to be able to get your makeup off, so it's not waterproof. If it was waterproof, it'd be a bit of a worry because it would mean you'd need a lot of stuff to get it off, okay? So water resistant, and now I'm going to put on just a finishing product before I move on to quickly doing my eyes, and this is the Skin Radiance Loose Mineral Illuminizer. It looks quite peachy in the container. I don't know if you can see, it's got a very slight sheen to it, and I always finish off my skin with this, just putting, I'll show you, probably, oh God, probably about that much on. I mix it in the lid, and then what I do is I pop it in my temples and on top of my blush, so it just makes my cheekbones look bigger, it makes my skin look dewy and healthier. You could put it down the middle of your nose, you could put it in the middle of your forehead there, you can use it as an eyeshadow, you could use it to define your brows, so just grab a little brush out of our 7-piece brush kit and just put it under the brow area there. You can put it in the corner of your eyes to make your eyes look healthier. Maybe if you've got close set eyes, you want to make them look further apart, so you can pop it in there. And you can also put it on the top of your lips to create the illusion of a pout. You can do everything with this. I love it. It's just another one of those very user-friendly, versatile products that you can check out the tutorials on how to do that. Now, before I move on to eyes and just finishing off this look really quickly with my favourite lips at the moment. So should mascara be applied to the lower lashes if they're very thin? Look, I probably would avoid it, and I think you'd better off for definition using a brow dust, because you'll probably find that if they're really little, it's going to draw attention to them putting the black mascara on. So I would think that if you're wanting the definition on your under eye or lower lash area, you'd be better off using the Peggy brow dust and an angle brush and just popping a little bit there instead of putting mascara on that. All right. Now this is I'm using the Wind Up brown mineral eyeliner. Okay, I love it because you don't need to sharpen it. And I'm not going to do a full eye line. So for those of you that can't do eyeliner, this is my trick to putting a bit of eyeliner on, but without having to be too precise with it. So you just, on the outer third of your eye, so really from the corner to almost the beginning of your iris. This is not easy doing this into a mirror behind a phone, let me tell you. And I'm going as close to the lash line as possible. So you can see by just putting the eyeliner in this outer third, that's where I've concentrated. I haven't just made it all thick and wedged it there. Like you've still got to sort of blend it in as close as you get to the middle of your eye, go further into your lash line. Okay, and then that's just a really natural looking way of defining your lashes. That's really what eyeliner's there to do, is to give you thicker looking, more dense looking eyelashes, and give the illusion of, you know, more of that sort of almond shaped eye. And it also helps anyone that's got you know, puppy dog eyes. It just helps to bring them up. Okay, so it's just focusing on this outer corner. And then all I do is I just sort of, the corner of my tear duct sort of here, I just sort of work on flicking it out a little bit. This is my very lazy way of doing eyeliner. Okay, I don't worry about this section because that's where everybody gets, they stuff it up, gets thick, goes everywhere. So just focus on this outer third, and the closer you come to the middle of your eye, then start disappearing into your lashes, all right? So that's what I'll do there. And then as I mentioned to one of you gorgeous people a moment ago, if you're wanting to define underneath of your eyes, I always put a little bit of the brow dust, again, just on this outer third of my eye. I don't run it the whole way across, I just find it makes my eyes look too small. So if you keep your dark colours to this outer third, just before your iris, it tends to make the eyes more defined, more open. And I always like to stick to browns personally because they're still very dark. They're not as harsh as black, especially when you get older. It can be a bit harsh. If you've got blonde hair, red hair, black's really harsh. I would opt for greys or browns. And for me, browns, that's enough. Like, that's a lot of definition there for not a lot of effort, okay? So it's just really a bit of brow dust on the corner, especially if you've got weepy eyes. Don't put eyeliner underneath your eyes. Use a brow dust. It's less likely to smudge. Okay, and then to get it looking really natural, I just like to wipe a bit of it away with a clean brush. Okay, that's that. Just getting any fallout I might have got from the brow dust just then. Love the pout tip. Yeah, no, I do too. Oh, thank you, Mish. I'm glad that you've just ordered the skincare sampler box. Awesome. So you'll be able to follow some of the tips at the beginning of this to help you out. All right. So that's the eyeliner. Now, mascara is not my favourite thing to do on lives. I tend to poke myself in the eye when I'm trying to do it. But I do like to, which I haven't got today, is I do like to curl my lashes first. Even now, you know, if I was to curl them, you would see them pop up. It's something I do every single day, but I just haven't brought it in with me today. Then I put the lash primer on because that does give extra length and thickness. Again, just to try and keep this live to a little bit of a shorter time, I'm just going to put the mascara on directly just to finish off the look a little bit. And this is good. The mascaras are great if you just want a really natural looking weekend look without your eyelashes. I mean, look, who doesn't love long lashes? I mean, personally, I always... See, look. Who doesn't like long lashes? So personally, I do use the lash curler and the lash primer every day. But I'm just trying to speed this up a little bit because no one needs to be looking up my nose watching me put mascara on for any longer than necessary. Okay, so this is the organic mascara, or the Hello Lashes one. If you suffer from mascara smudging on you, you've got weepy eyes, or maybe you've got hooded eyes and the skin is resting on your eyelashes all day, you need to wear waterproof mascara, okay? So when skin is touching skin, the warmth of that skin and the oils from your skin is what's causing that product not to last. And again, unless you've got a product that's made out of cement and impossible to get off, no product is going to be permanent on your face all day if you've got skin touching it. So the trick with hooded eyes is less is more. Maybe focus on defining the underneath part of your eye with a brow dust. Maybe put an eyeshadow on to create the illusion of a crease with an eyeshadow. And then your mascara always needs to be a waterproof just to help minimise that smudging. If you've got hooded eyes while we're talking about it, I personally wouldn't even bother with eyeliner on the top of your eyelids because you're not going to see it. And then if anything, it's just going to end up here on the top of your eyelid. So just, you know, skip that step. Why bother doing it if it's not going to look nice or it's going to look... Oh, God, I just love... See, look, even I make mistakes, girls. Look at this. And I have got a tutorial on how I do my mascara, so how to get the outer corners looking really long, and that could be a new look. Beauty spot on your eyelid. So just grab one of your cotton tips, your bamboo ones, girls, and just gently blend it away. Don't let it set for too long and it's gone. Awesome. All right, so that's the mascara. Now, the lipstick look that I'm going for today, again, I do like to put the lip balm on at the beginning of me doing my makeup, so our coconut and vanilla lip balm, because it just helps hydrate the skin, especially if you've got dry, chapped skin. Nothing looks worse than putting a bit of lipstick on that. You're better off wearing gloss, but if you do want to wear a lipstick, put a lip balm on first, just to help prevent or get rid of some of that dead skin. Exfoliate with the bamboo maybe in the shower, that'll help it as well. Okay, I'm just going to do what's called a floating lip. I don't have any lip liner on. And this is the nude. It's sort of a caramelly colour, our nude. It's almost like a rusty sort of nude. All right. That's it on its own. And then what I'm going to do, I'm not a big fan of wearing nude on its own, but I do like the nude look. So then I either use Bridget or Diana over the top in the lip gloss. Just for a really natural, healthy looking look, where I'm not wanting to wear too much colour. Maybe because I've made my cheeks, especially if you've got a lot of cheek colour on, you might want to go more neutral, or you've got a lot of eyeshadow on. It's always going to be a bit more flattering. You know, pick where you want to do your colour. Do you want to focus on your eyes and your cheeks? Then tone down your lips. If you want a bold lip, then, you know, maybe you want to tone down your eyes and just do something really natural there. Okay, so that is my look today. I hope that you've picked up some tips along the way on how to get really nice, tight, healthy looking plump skin prior to putting your makeup on. Hopefully you've picked up a few little tips about how to put some of the products on that I've used today, and also more importantly, how you can use them for other things. And I can see that we've had lots of questions. We'll go back and answer the ones that I've missed verbally, but thank you so much for tuning in. I really enjoy these lives with you guys. They're very interactive, which is fantastic because it makes me feel better that I've been able to help you a little bit. This live will be posted in a moment, so you can check back on it later. But as I said, if you're really curious about how to do these particular things more specifically, then go to the tutorial page, okay? So Kayleen, the lip gloss I just put over the nude lipstick was the Diana, okay? So this one here. All right, so thank you so much for your time today. We've been here for a really long time this morning, so I do appreciate it. Have a fabulous day. And as always, be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Bye.